Mark Allery kind enough to come out here and, kind of volunteer his time. We've obviously, I've been reading, or we as a team have been reading the book Toughness. Okay, you guys have read some pages. I've showed you guys some quotes. We've talked about some things. Obviously, Mark here played at Duke for Coach K. Played in the NBA. It just has a wealth of experience that hopefully we can take something from it, and hopefully have some questions, a few questions for him at the end. But I always think it's great when you have people that can come in and you can hear a different voice. So let's clap it up for him real quick.
So at the very back of this book is an article that Jay wrote for ESPN. He's a writer for ESPN.com, and he kept on using this term toughness when he was broadcasting basketball games. Michael Jordan, the only time I guarded him was when I got switched off. Like, my coach never said, go, Mark, you go stop Jordan. That never happened. But occasionally, you get switched off on him, and, it was not a good feeling because he's so explosive. But I did have an algorithm or a little thought. When I was on him, I didn't want him to go right because I'd get dunked on. So I'd stay on his right hip, force him to the left, hoping my help would be there, all right, and providing a hard foul if he got all the way to the basket, because at least I could stop him from scoring.
Capital Hoops, here with Kevin Jones at St. Andrews. You guys talk to me about the outlook this year. You guys have a talented roster, but a young roster.
Right. So we have a lot of talented guys. There's no question about that. Relatively young team. Graduated 8 seniors. So again, we're a youthful bunch. But I will say this: they compete. So no one should feel sorry for us. We certainly have our share of talent. So it'll be an interesting season as we have that type of inexperience, but talent. I'm confident that over time and as the season progresses, we will come together, as a team and be ready to go.
Who are some of the key pieces we should be on the lookout for this year?
Yeah, real balanced team, but I think some guys that you've seen, progress from last season. Certainly Kamari Williams. And his role in the team last year versus this team will be very different. A kid like Heru Bligen, who was kind of thrust into the fire, as a freshman. We'll be looking on him to, lead in a certain way. Justin Nwosu, a senior, again, somebody that had a large impact on the team last year. But we'll need him to provide senior leadership, and help this, young team. We've got a talented freshman, Chase Davis, sophomore, Colin Smalls. So we have our share of guys, and I would expect to see some of those guys, definitely help us out, as a team this year. But just like everyone else, I think the one, positive to this team is that the depth is there. Very similar players, so literally on our roster, everyone can play. And I think the most unique thing is we've got 11 guys on the roster right now that want to be here. When you have 11 guys that want to be somewhere and put in that effort and that energy, special things happen. It might not happen at the speed that, we would like to as coaches, but over time, certainly, I expect to see some good things out of this group.
What are some particular skill sets or particular kind of aspects of the game that you feel like you guys really need to work on as the season progresses?
Yeah, definitely one thing we've been paying a lot of attention to is defense. That's pretty much our first, week and a half of practices, so it's been very defensive oriented. Shrinking gaps, closing out on shots, finishing plays with rebounds. That's what we've really paid attention to. Obviously, a young team, you're going to hope that we protect the ball, take good shots. So those are some of the things we'll definitely be focusing on. And again, any team, not just our team, but if you defend, you're closing out possessions with rebounds, and you're taking good shots and limiting turnovers, you can compete with anybody and have a chance. So that's our hopes as a team, and that's what our coaching staff is really drilling on right now.
Aside from Anthony Garuzi, what is the biggest difference from the makeup of last year's team versus this year's team? Like from a coaching, strategy standpoint, what are you going to have to do differently, aside from get the ball from Anthony and let him do what he does.
Right. And again, probably a big difference as a coach is you start talking about Anthony. I mean, Anthony was such a special player, that at times you find yourself standing watching him, as he's gliding through the air for a dunk or as he's making a move on his guy. So the thing here, which is probably, I guess you could look at it as a negative and a positive at the same time in certain circumstances. But again, we have 11 guys that, are similar players, we can count on each of them, at any point, any given time. So it'll be interesting for us as a staff, how we, with our rotations, rely on different guys at different times, whether it's a group going in for 2 minutes and giving us everything they have, and somebody closing out a quarter. So it'll be interesting for us as a coaching staff how we do that.
Talk about your conference real quick. If you took St. Andrews out of the equation, who would you pick as some of the teams that'll be at the top that you're going to be gunning for?
Look, it's a great league. I always tell people I think it's the most underrated conference in the DMV. Great coaches, great players. If you go down the line, always a school like St. James, Coach Creek does a great job, has great talent, always. Coach Reed at Flint Hill, again, they've got some great additions coming to their program. There's also some really good guys returning. A school like Murray with Coach Brazell, again, very talented team. With some pretty good returning players as well. Sidwell, in my opinion, probably arguably, one of the best players in the league returning is Sadiq Bey and Coach Singletary. Doesn't matter what team he has, they're going to compete at a very high level. Georgetown Day, always scrappy, always chippy, and it's tough out when you got to go play them on the road. And then Potomac School, Coach Franklin, again, tremendous coach at the college level, gets after it, returns most of his team. So, they'll be ready to go too. So really tough league, and this is one of those years as a coach where you say, you could probably finish anywhere from 1 to 7, this year.
Gentlemen, St. Andrews, appreciate the time.
Appreciate your support. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Kamari Williams, class of 2019.
Kamari, tell me about the upcoming season here at St. Andrews.
I think we're going to be looking sharp. We have a bunch of athletic guards, and we have a special bond, so I think we'll be good this year.
How do you see your role on this team?
My coach has got me doing almost everything, rebounding, making plays, scoring, playing defense, kind of all over the place. Yeah, I transferred last year. So last year was my first year. Yeah.
Tell me about the transfer, how you're fitting in here.
I felt like the coaching process would be like a lot more better here because I like Coach Jones, so it's a lot more intense here, so I like it.
And tell me about kind of the schedule you're going to be playing here versus playing like a 4A Montgomery County schedule.
Yeah, the schedule was a lot tougher. I had to adapt to the adjustment, but I'm gonna just keep working. I'm getting used to it.
All right, we appreciate the time. Good luck this year.
Thank you.
My name is Heru, Bligen, class of 219.
Heru, tell me about kind of being one of the leaders on the team this year. Obviously, you're back from last year.
Yes.
Anthony's departed.
Yeah.
You're going to need some new guys to score the ball and kind of be those vocal leaders. Talk about your role this year.
My role is big. As a point guard, I'm in the head of the line, and we have a young team, so I have to put each person in each spot, talk them to it. It's gonna be a hard job, but I think I can handle it.
Talk to me about the schedule you guys face. Obviously, a very daunting schedule against a lot of good teams, but talk to me about that.
This year is gonna be one of our toughest schedules since I've been here. Flint Hill has top ESPN 6'10" dude. Obviously, St. James has some talent. Murray has EJ, of course. It's a lot of talent, but I think we're a grimy team, work hard, and if we get our chemistry together, we can be one of the top teams.
Talk to me about this new facility here. Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But kind of from where you were when you started here to now playing in this amazing facility.
Yeah. As a freshman coming in, it was a small gym. We only had one gym, and during practices we had to share with the girls. As you can see now, we have 2 gyms and we can share. It's just fantastic. We have great fans that come out to the game. It's a great environment to play in.
All right, we appreciate the time. Good luck this year.
Thank you.
Justin Nwosu, class of 2018.
Talk about this coming season, Justin.
This season, I'm very confident in our team. We're just young last season we had 8 seniors, so this year is just not a rebuilding year, but we're just getting used to things. But we're very good this year.
All right, thanks, Justin.
All right, let's close out the line. This is the part now. Look, we had fun stuff all for an hour. Now let's get focused. Let's get back into the game, and let's be ready to go. All right, let's go.
Hey, Lions on 3, family on 6, 1, 2, 3. Lions. 4, 5, 6.
Shooting form, my shooting just expanding my range and stuff like that. My dribble moves, just becoming a more versatile and more just well-balanced player.
All balance from the pros and from outside.
What's your favorite class?
Probably math and photography.
And your family and class year?
I'm Tony Diallo, I'm 2019.
How do you feel about the team going into the year?
I feel pretty confident. We're young, talented.
Jason Lewis, class of 2019.
How do you feel about the team this year?
I think we're a young team this year, but if everyone steps up and does what they're supposed to do, we can be a tough team to beat.